The halo effect. Noun. When a single successful installment of a franchise leads to the development of countless others that gradually decline in quality and success as the material strays further and further away from the original concepts, inspirations, and objectives that led to its inception. Sound confusing? Well, then let me simplify it. Why the fuck are they still making Call of Duty? We see this endlessly in this day and age. A single installment in a franchise, whether it's a movie, video game, or even a book, is so good that the slimy corporate dickbags can't help but ask the original creators to keep making more of them. And when I say ask, I really mean beat them with a metal bat until they put out more content, whether they actually have ideas for said content or not. And that's the obvious main cause of the halo effect, but even in some cases that don't have corporate skullfucks ruining everything for everyone, we still see some pretty crappy sequels. Why is this? When you've got people who should, by all means, understand the magic of the original and what made it good, people who made the original and have the skills to create something amazing, how do so many of these fail? It's because the sequels are no longer being created under the same set of circumstances as the original. Let me tell you guys something I've picked up on as a writer by going through countless creative processes, and from reading an incredible screenwriting book that you totally should too. At any point during the process of creating something, the creation is just as close to the inspirations and concepts that led to its creation as when it was just an idea. That initial little nugget of inspiration is going to be what you cling to while you work on executing it. It's going to be a constant reminder of what you want your creation to be or come across as. Thus, the initial idea is an extremely significant factor in the creation of anything, even if that might not be immediately obvious. So let's say you finished your creation, executing on that initial idea, and then Satan himself ascends from the depths of hell, grabs you by the scruff of your neck, and says, "Make another one." You stare back into the eyes of Satan, knowing he could take away your job in an instant, and reply, I don't have any ideas." "I don't care," he replies. "I want money." And then he leaves. Now, you, the creator, are faced with a dilemma. You can either try to work off the same idea that spawned the original and essentially create the original, but worse, as your lack of ideas is displayed for everyone to see, or you can create something based off a new, forced idea that will lead to a creation that, even if it's good, won't feel like a faithful sequel to the original. At this point, I have to go all white guy in a v-neck arguing semantics at a party on your ass and start questioning the definition of a sequel. Is it really a sequel if it just borrows the character's world and pre-existing narratives to tell another story? Or does it have to really feel like it's part of the original? I'm more inclined to lean towards the latter. The reason why I refer to this incredibly scientific phenomenon that I researched as the halo effect is because the Halo franchise is such a good, clear-cut example of it. When Bungie first created Halo, it was an incredible game that set a precedent for first-person shooters, and practically sold the original Xbox by itself. Each title after that was extremely innovative and fresh. Halo 2 is one of the best games of all time. Halo 3 is my favorite game ever, and though that's the biased and nerdy side of me talking and not the critic searching for quality, it doesn't matter because Halo 3 was still a pretty fucking good game. But even within Bungie's ranks, as more and more time and distance began to build up from the original concepts, ideas, and people that made the original Halos incredible, the overall quality and success of each game started to decline. Halo 3 ODST was fucking amazing if you ask me, but its lack of content for a $60 price tag was a major barrier to sales when it released, and Halo Reach, while still a pretty great game on its own, was belittled by fans for abandoning its roots. The thing about these games is that Bungie wasn't making them out of passion or choice. They'd already promised Microsoft they'd make a few more Halos, but wanted to move on to bigger and better things as soon as they could. Well, I don't know if I'd call Destiny a better thing, but it was still something new. And then 343 Industries, the proverbial noob of the games industry, was tasked by Microsoft to make more Halo games. A completely different company. And as a result, Halo has suffered. There are a lot of people working at 343 who very clearly have a genuine love for Halo. You can just see it in their games. No one can say they're not trying with every ounce of their being to make good Halo games. But even though Halo 4 and 5 aren't even all that bad, they aren't Halo. And that's not even 343's fault. They can't get into the headspace of the original creators, and as a result, even if Halo 6 is actually a good game somehow, it's never going to be a good Halo game. Nothing is going to be, ever again. So, how do we make good sequels? I mean, there are good, faithful sequels out there, right? How do we make them? Easy. Make them a part of your original idea. Creating a sequel as an afterthought and not as a part of your original plan for your idea might work as a business strategy, but definitely not as a way to create high-quality art. I mean, you might get lucky occasionally, and you could probably pull it off if you really know your stuff, but planning out each installment with the same purpose, same objective, and same base inspiration as the rest of them means you're making a coherent whole. It means that every single one of your installments is going to be as close to the idea that spawned it as the original. It means that if the original is compelling, the rest will probably follow. The best example I can think of for this is this silly little series of books I read as a kid. They're not very well known, so you'll just have to take my word for it. It's called Harry Potter. Each book in the Harry Potter franchise is very keen to expand on what the original introduced instead of adding more on top of it. And no, I'm not just saying this because there's plot threads left hanging at the end of every book. I'm saying this because each book is a part of Rowling's attempt to execute her ideas. Everything in each novel feels like it's supposed to be there and not like a whole new concept or angle entirely. But The Cursed Child? Fuck no. That has about as much to do with the original inspiration for Harry Potter as E3 does with YouTubers. There's a reason it's not included as a part of the original series by most. Because it isn't part of the original series. It's being propelled forward by new ideas and inspirations, and it isn't bad, but it isn't Harry Potter, and Rowling knows this. She sought to make it feel different instead of feeling the same, and it works on its own. It's important that we acknowledge the difference in these kinds of sequels and the strategies for creating them, because while I'm perfectly aware that the Halo effect isn't the only cause of crappy remakes, reboots, and sequels that no one asked for, I think that this perspective on the situation might lessen the burden on the artists who make them, shedding some light on just how far out of their control it really is. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? EA?
I am Satan, and I am here to force you to make a new movie theory video.
What? But look, sir, I know the Team Stark video is my most popular video by a long shot, but I don't have any ideas for another one, and there's just so many other things to talk about.
I don't care. I want money.
I don't even make money off of my videos.
Ah!